Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Houseki no Kuni, or Land of the Lustrous if you prefer, episodes 3 and 4. So, yeah, we took last week off, things happened, and I was not able to get to it, unfortunately, but we are finally back. And now, last we left off, I believe our main character, I do not remember their name. I think it was like Phosphorite or something. But they were eaten by a giant slug and basically being melted alive. The giant slug was delivered to the place by these sun spots, I think they were called. I think they were called sunspots or something like that. And we don't fully know, like, the scope of this world. We don't know exactly how everything works. But our main character is pretty much melting, and that kind of hints that they're dead? I don't know. It's unclear. It's unclear. But I am interested to find out where this goes and how this slug is stopped in the end, because no one seems to be able to stop it. Now, I don't have a lot of time at this moment, so I'm going to try to just make this as quick as possible. So we're just going to get on with this. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So this... I'll be honest here. This got really weird. Like, the first 2 episodes were even really good, and I enjoyed them. These 2 episodes... I wouldn't say it made the show bad, but it really brought down my enjoyment and just left me really confused. So Foss survived because they became part of the shell. The snail was not Foss. Was thought to be Foss at first, but not actually. Which was really just a completely unnecessary and confusing little side bit to add in. It's like thinking that the snail was Foss. That was just, it was silly. And apparently the snail's not even a snail. It's this underwater, like, person that is another branch off of the original humanity. Because, see, apparently the gems, the Lunarians, and then the sea people are apparently branched off all from humanity. They all represent a different path that humanity has evolved in. I cannot remember the name of these sea people. It was mentioned. I can't remember it. But the sea people, they're based off of the flesh. The gems are based off the bone, and the Lunarians are the soul, which all makes sense. But in the end, the king led Foss to that spot to be attacked and taken by the Lunarians as sort of payment to get her brother back. What? Like, this entire snail sea person thing, the entire story with this just kind of seemed to come out of nowhere and was really freaking weird. Like, the entire gem thing, like okay, this is a world, like, where gems are the people. Okay, I can dig that. And that each gem is, like, I mean, I guess its real-life counterpart, and has hardness and brittleness and whatnot. all of that jazz, all the jazz you would think of. And that's fine. You have these enemies, the Lunarians, these people that seem to come from the sun. That's why I've been calling them sunspots, by the way. I think that term was used in the first episode or two. But the Lunarians seem to come from the sun, and they're attacking the gems and trying to take them away. And now apparently it's just because they want to gain their humanity back? Because apparently they're taking the sea people too? But either way, with just that, like with just the Lunarians versus the gems and everything, like, I was cool with that. I was cool with the stories of these characters, even though some of them, like Bort, I really cannot stand. But I was cool with their characters, with the stories, with just where they were going with that. But then they throw in this completely other part of it. And I know it's only like episodes 3 and 4, so it's, I guess, semi-reasonable to still do it at this point. I think this is out of like 12 episodes, I believe. But either way, it's just like they throw this in and it just feels really random. It doesn't feel like it fits in with everything else. Even with the explanation of the 3 branches that humanity evolved into, it just does not feel natural. It feels like they kind of just shoehorned this idea in last minute. And the entire... it just wasn't that fun and entertaining. It felt like they were trying to do too much. Like they're trying to expand too much on this world when they haven't given us enough with what we've gotten. See, when you expand upon a world, which is important, you have to do it at a reasonable pace. You have to start by giving us a taste for the world we've got, which they did. They gave us these gems, they gave us the Lunarians, who are the enemies of the gems, they gave us sort of this social hierarchy with the gems. All of that's great, but then you have to build upon them for a little bit. And that's the problem. There was a little bit of building on them in the first 3 episodes, but not enough. I feel this new aspect shouldn't have been brought in until at least halfway through the season, or series, or whatever. By having it appear this early, it just feels kind of like they're just throwing a whole crap ton of stuff on us at once without giving us a chance to really take anything in. You can't just do that. Like, with all of these other shows that build upon their worlds in such wonderful ways, they give us information, they build upon that information, and then they give us new information. That's how it should be. That's how all of these amazing shows I love so much do it. My Hero Academia does it that way. Legend of Korra did it that way. Steven Universe. All of these shows, they take a bit of information, they build on it for a little bit, or even sometimes a long time, and then they give you some more information to build upon. You can't just like, oh, here's some information, a couple episodes later, have some more. It's like, it's overstuffing us. If we're going to use, like, let's use a food metaphor. I know, like the fat girl using a food metaphor, but let's use a food metaphor. So let's say the normal way of doing it. You eat your meal, right? You eat your breakfast. Then you take a few hours, you digest it, you take it all in, and then you get hungry again. So you have some more at that point. You've taken some time between in order to get to the point where you need more food. With this, it's more like you just ate from a buffet, and then you're going up for seconds. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong, by the way, with if you like to have seconds at a buffet or something. I mean, I have seconds and even thirds. What I'm trying to say is, like, let's say you go to a buffet. You have, like, let's say 2 to 3 plates, right? So you leave the buffet, and then you go straight to a McDonald's. It's redundant, and you don't have time to let that food settle and let that food digest before you're just getting more. You have to take that time, otherwise you're just going to be overstuffing yourself and you're going to end up getting sick of it. And with the food metaphor, literally sick of it, And with this show, if this kind of thing just keeps up, it's going to make me lose interest. You have to give time, and having 3 episodes is not enough before you get to this stuff. You have to have more than that. They just seem to be rushing it a little. And I want to love the show. I really do. And it has a lot of great aspects to it and is doing some really awesome things, but when it does something like this, it's like my interest after the first 2 episodes was way up here. My interest now is like way down here. And it's because it's throwing so much upon us at once. It's not giving us time to digest everything we've already seen. It's not giving us enough examples of what we've already found out. Like, yeah, we've had, like, what, 3 battles against the Lunarians? That's not enough before we get to this next big twist. No. Like I said, this should have happened, like, halfway through the series. Like, maybe episode 6, if this is actually 12 episodes. I think it is, but about episode 6, maybe, that this should have been revealed. So, it was like a couple episodes too early. These 2 episodes, like, the snail thing is just silly, for one. Even outside of just the fact that it's too much information at once, and it's really confusing to be throwing all of this at us, the snail thing is super silly. And the conversations with the Snail King after turning back into its true form was super silly. Like, the water jugs, they're my most important piece, praise be unto them? What? I get the joke, but it's just like, it's even funny to a point, but it's so off-putting because it's so different from everything we've been given up to this point. It's so just out of the ordinary, and they haven't given us enough time to accept the ordinary yet. No, I'm not saying by any means, by the way, don't get worried, I'm not saying I'm dropping this. I'm just saying that these 2 episodes were really kind of disappointing and really made my interest in this series wane. I'm not dropping it yet, but let me check real quick. I just need to make sure on something. I have to make sure on the episode count before I say anything here, just to be sure. 12 episodes, yes. So, I feel that the next set of episodes, which will be episodes 5 and 6, I don't know why it took me that long to figure that out. Episodes 5 and 6, that will, I think, be the determining point for me, because that'll bring me to about halfway through, in fact, it'll bring me to halfway through the series. If these next 2 episodes do the same kind of thing that these first 2 did, or that these second 2 here did, episodes 3 and 4, I'll probably be dropping it. And I hate to say that because I've dropped so many shows lately, but it's just like, I really want this show to be good and not to just throw information at us and not give us a chance to digest it. Like I said, you can't just go to a buffet and then stop at McDonald's on the way home for more food. I mean, you can, but it doesn't work. It's overstuffing you and it's going to make you sick. It's the same thing with this. You can't just get this big amount of information and then get another big load of information right away. You have to take time to develop and build upon that information before going on to new stuff. So I'm sorry, I'm not saying these episodes were even outright terrible, but there were issues. Also, like, the characters' personalities, for the most part, aren't that interesting. Um, the boss, the master, I do not remember his name right now, but um, he or it, I guess, or they, rather, yeah, they. I think all of the gems go by they, them pronouns. The master is really just kind of average. Like, there's no, like, great personality or character to them. Um, Both Bort and Cinnabar are extremely tsundere, or tsundere, or however you want to pronounce it. Um, and I think I've mentioned before, I don't really like the tsundere personalities for the most part. There are exceptions, but for the most part, I really don't like tsundere personalities. I find them annoying as hell. Um, and Bort and Cinnabar are two big examples of that. Cinnabar, I feel a little sympathy towards because of their story and everything, but Bort, I hate Bort. I can't stand them. Really, the only ones I really like are Foss. Because Foss actually has a personality, is really scrappy and wild and everything. I like Diamond because they're really freaking cute and nice and strong and willful. And I like I think it's Rutile. I think Rutile is the doctor. You know, 'cause they're kind of a little bit insane, and I like that. I really like that. That's fun. A little bit insane, a little bit wild. Takes their job extremely seriously, but likes to experiment with it. Yeah, those are the only three I really like so far, out of all the characters in this show. Again, Cinnabar's close. Cinnabar is close, but not quite there, because outside of their backstory, they are still just kind of a tsundere. There's been not really much of anything else given to them yet. I really do hope that this series proves me wrong. I really hope that this series proves me wrong and starts to get better. I hope the other characters start to get better. I hope that it stops thrusting all of this upon us at once. Yeah. Because, like I said, the next two episodes, next week's set is going to determine whether or not I keep watching or drop it. But I will say, if I keep watching after next week's set, I won't be dropping it at all. Because if I get past that halfway point, I think at that point it's pretty much like, oh, I'm going to finish this. And especially with a 12-episode series. But next week's will definitely be the determining factor for that. And I really want it to succeed. I really want it to do some great stuff with these next two episodes. Because I don't want to drop another show, you know? I dropped so many lately. I dropped Ancient Magus' Bride because I would rather watch it on my own time. I dropped Gumball because I just was not enjoying it. And I'm going to end up watching it with Rarity Dash's reactions instead. And I dropped... Did I drop something? Well, I dropped Attack on Titan Season 3, but I'm bringing that back, so I'm not going to count that. But it just feels like I've been dropping so much lately, and I just want to, I don't want to do that. Like, if I'm going to drop shows, I'm going to drop shows, but I don't want to do it too often, you know? But at the same time, I'm not going to force myself to watch a show that I'm not enjoying or that's bothering me in too many ways. Like I said, we'll see where it goes next week. Honestly, I expect it to be fine. I expect it to be good enough to make me want to continue. And I would suggest you guys expect that as well. I'm most likely going to continue it, but there is that small chance of me dropping it. Because these two episodes really kind of brought my interest in this series down and just hurt my overall opinion on it. But hopefully it doesn't try to stuff anything more into next episodes. Because if it does really continue to try and stuff all of this new information without letting us settle on what we've got already, it's like, yeah, that's going to be pretty much almost instantaneous drop at that point. I don't like that. I do not like when shows do that. I do not like when movies or games or whatnot. You have to let us settle on information before we can move on to more. We can only handle so much at one time. So yeah, I'm sorry that these afterthoughts seem really negative and everything. It's just, there were a lot to enjoy about these episodes. There was some fun parts for sure, but just how they went and the information thrust upon us, and the really confusing and silly and unnecessary storyline with the snail being thought to be Foss. All of it was just really unnecessary. We'll see where it goes next time, though. Tell me in the comments below what you thought of these episodes of Houseki no Kuni, and tell me your thoughts on, specifically, all of this information being thrust at us at once. And I hope you understand that even if I have opinions on the series, you don't have to agree with them. If you thought this was fine, that's okay, but I didn't. I thought there were some major issues here that cannot be ignored. And heck, if you thought that there were even more issues than I even named, that's fine as well. No matter what your opinion is, stick to that. Don't let anyone tell you you're wrong, because you're not. It is all opinion. It is all subjective. So, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way, you're still standing, live life.